Hello everyone, welcome to Race Report episode number 4, the show where my teammate Bart Swings and myself, Felix Rijhnen, talk about races close to our heart and especially the ones which would have normally been taking place this weekend. And this weekend that's a very special one because it would have been my home race, the International Speedskating Kriterium in Groß-Gerau, and there he is already, my houseside teammate Bart Swings. Hey Swingsy, good to see you. Let's jump straight in. How was your week?
How was my week? Everything was good. I had a good week. Did some special things, different things than I'm used to. First, I did a YouTube haircut.
You did? Oh,
yeah. Yesterday, it was time. It was getting a little bit too long, so yesterday.
Sides are nice and short. Good job.
Yeah, the sides are better now. So
cool.
But I'm looking forward to go to real barber, and then. This week I wouldn't say it was a special training. It was more kind of a competition. It was for a TV show. So, we have in Belgium, it's called the Container Cup. The TV show starts today, and it's actually made because of Corona, because all the Belgian athletes are now staying at home, so we cannot compete. So somebody had the idea to make a competition between all the Belgian athletes, and it's inside of one big container. All the disciplines you have to do them in there, and it's like a modern 7 camp, so 7 disciplines you have to do. Start with running, then you have to do monkey bars. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, it's hard for the arms, and then
probably not your favorite exercise.
Not my favorite, not at all. Then we have to do golfing. What's rowing? Rowing, you have to do it as well. Shooting, bench press, max bench press, and then finish with cycling. So and after that you have like one big competition, and it was very hard, but I think it will be fun to watch. A lot of Belgian good athletes participate. Today it's Remco Evenepoel. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah, obviously, one of the real cycling superstars.
Yeah, he's very very big and still very young, but of course very strong guy. And then the other guy who starts today as well is Peter Timmers. He's a silver medalist in swimming. So other names are most of the cyclists you know probably: Greg van Avermaet, Wout van Aert, Mathieu van der Poel.
Olympic champion. Wow.
Yes. So it was fun to do, and I'm looking forward to see everybody compete, and I did it as well, and we'll see what my result will be.
How cool is that? So over the next couple of weeks we can see you and others on TV.
Today it starts, and then every day it's an episode of 2 people. So I think total is 32 athletes and 8 famous people from Belgium. And my episode will be the 13th of May.
Cool.
I will be on, yes.
In a couple of weeks. Yeah, you have to remind us again, and then we'll all be watching and cheering for you.
Okay, perfect.
That sounds interesting. Sounds really interesting.
It's a fun thing, and I think it's a perfect timing also. They saw the opportunity because athletes are most of the time away or don't have the time for this, and now we don't have any races, so it's fun to do, I think.
No better time than now actually for things like that. Cool. Yeah. Awesome. I think, like, if I should guess, I don't know the results, but I should guess. If I should guess, you would have been really, really good, because one of the things I admire about you is I can give you a football and you're good at soccer. I can give you a computer game, you're good in the computer game, and I can put you on skates, and we all know how that looks. So I think you're a pretty balanced all-around athlete. So maybe except for the upper body stuff,
Yeah,
you should have been doing pretty good.
The upper body it's gonna give me problems for sure, but I love sports, so that's for sure. I think when I was a kid, I would have been better at it, because now you start focusing so much on specificities.
You become
sport.
really narrowed down on the
yeah.
one thing you do. Yeah,
that's true. But still, it was really fun to do, and you'll see the result in a few weeks.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'll be watching for sure.
Nice.
So now, normally we should not be at home. You should not be in Belgium sitting at your table, and I should not be in Germany sitting on my couch. Instead, we should be here actually. And
on the podium for sure.
and that's what we want to be talking about this weekend. The International Speedskating Kriterium in Groß-Gerau. That was the podium of last year, of last year's edition, and actually pretty much now we would have been done with the races and probably have a last little debrief, and then you would be off to Belgium, and I would be off home, and we would have had an awesome weekend. It's so good weather so here. Nice. Oh my god. It really hurts. It really hurts.
Me too. But I think for me it's the most fun race around, and the most important for me in the spring for sure. Yeah. So it hurts a lot to not be there.
Yeah, I mean we've almost said this every week now, but with the Kriterium in Groß-Gerau, I mean obviously it's my home race, but it has been like one of my first international races ever.
Same for me.
And it's been running since 1979. So this year would have been the 42nd edition running without any stops, without any year missing. And I got the list of the winners for you.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
it's I hope you can see it like this. Obviously, I didn't start all the way at 1979. I only put the first year and then started in the year 2000.
Okay, cool.
And if you run through those names there, it's simply amazing to me. Yeah. Obviously, a huge name there in the year 2001, Chad Hedrick, who came through Groß-Gerau and showed himself there. Kalen won it twice. Jan Guyadere won it 3 times in a row. Yeah. And then a pretty special era starts, and that's basically your winning streak. So starting in the year 2010, then we had one small little hiccup in 2018.
Was it 2018? I thought it was 2017, no?
I think it was 18.
Okay. Damn.
Yeah. That was the one time where I don't remember exactly why it was like this, why the overall didn't work out. But I think we probably because of the sprints. I think.
Yeah, I think because of the sprints, because Julio was really good in the 500 back then.
Exactly.
He made a big gap in the 500, and that's where I lost a lot of places. And with the overall in Groß-Gerau, 500 counts a lot, and it's just very, very important to be up there already.
Yeah, that's true. So for the ones who don't know how that race works, basically it's 2 competitions in one weekend. One is the Sprint Cup. That's always a 300 meter, and that's always on Friday.
Yeah.
And then basically sometimes we have heats also on Friday afternoon or Friday evening. But the real racing for us starts on Saturday and Sunday. Sorry, I just saw a question. Had to laugh there. Yeah. No, I take my time. Thomas, you can start eating. Sorry, I'm busy here.
So you're having barbecue tonight?
Yeah, I'm having a bit of a barbecue.
It's a perfect weekend for it.
Yeah, it is. Sun is still shining. Where was I? So Saturday, Sunday, and we always have 3 races. It's usually a 500 meter, which is the shortest sprint event, and then it's a 5K points race, and a 10K elimination last race on Sunday. And you really need to be like a overall around super balanced skater, because you have to be so fast to be up there in the 500, but you also need to be strong to win in the points, and obviously still have energy in the last race in the elimination on Sunday. And I mean, we saw, I think you won it 8 times, is that correct?
Yeah, 8 times. Yeah.
It's such a impressive winning streak, and I mean, it shows also that this event is really important to you.
Yeah.
You don't win Groß-Gerau by just rocking up and racing a bit. That I think doesn't work.
You have to be, everything has to fit, and you also need the portion of luck, I think, especially for the 500. And yeah, for me, Groß-Gerau is the most important race in the beginning of the season. So it's the first thing after the ice season that I work towards where I want to be in shape, where I want to show myself. And most of the time we've had Geisingen already, but most of the time that's just a little bit too early for me, and I use this race Geisingen for a preparation for Groß-Gerau kind of. I really like to race on the road, and
exactly.
Yeah, the road on Groß-Gerau is super fast, so it's always the race that I want to show myself, and
that's true.
For sure, very important for me.
It's actually also one of the few races in spring or overall in the season where we actually have a road race. Like most of the European Cups, they are on track. And I think both of us, we kind of love racing on the road as well. And so I think that also makes Groß-Gerau quite unique and special. And can you narrow it down? Can you tell me like what your favorite edition, what your favorite year was? I know it's a tough question, but maybe
it's a hard one. I have 2 in mind, and
okay.
I think the first time I won it, 2010, is probably my favorite one. It was with the first edition in senior was 2009. I couldn't win it, but in 2010 in senior I won it together with my brother and Ferre Sprout, and we were just really good in shape. Everything fit together, and I won the points race, but Ferre also got second in that race, so we were just really strong in that points race.
I remember that one. Yeah.
Marty also got points. He took them from the competition, so that was just perfect teamwork. And in the elimination, my brother led 2/3 of the race, and I could finish it off. So for me, that was I think maybe my favorite one. The other one is actually also. I got a picture of this one. Gotta show it. And now you told me just before this. I thought I won it that year, but I guess I didn't. It's this one for sure.
That's funny, because I got 2 of those pictures also on my list, and I also choose them. And I would have also said this is one of my 2 favorite years. Yeah. So we're talking about 2018.
Yes.
And I mean, to put it in context a little bit, this was the year where Bart and me were basically a 2-man team. At least in terms of long distance guys, we were only with 2 because the winter before Ewan left the team, and we didn't have Timothy on the squad yet. So basically we were put in a bit of a difficult situation. And I can only speak for myself, but it presented a huge challenge, huge challenge. Because to be honest, like often when Powerslide shows up at the race, or especially when you show up at the race, it's there's a clear favorite.
Yeah, like everybody's looking at us.
Yeah, everybody is looking at us. Everybody's looking at you, and everybody is also expecting at least that you win. Or you dominate, basically. And that year I felt it was different. Because everybody saw, like, we're a small team. Yeah. We were racing with 2 guys against, like, a full Bond squad. And
8 or 10 guys, I think, that year.
And several others. And I have to say, like, it also put a lot of pressure on me because, I mean, obviously you are the one who has to win in the end. You have to finish it off. But I also know if I don't do my job well or if I don't have a good day, then basically also I destroy your race also. Yeah. And I have to say that year the elimination race, when I did a good job and you won the whole thing, I think there was not many times that I was so proud and so happy about a win, which wasn't even my own one, but just in general that you were able to pull that win off. And I think not often had so many emotions after a victory, or especially a victory of a teammate. Like, that was also one of my favorite years, I have to say.
Yeah, I think that's, for me, it's the same. That year was, we had to do everything together with the two of us, and I think also the years before, sometimes we got some criticism that we were too big of a team, or we had too many good guys in there, or
for sure.
And then that year was totally the opposite, the way around, and it was just the two of us, and we still showed how strong we were at that moment, and that we still could do it with the two of us. And I think that was a really nice feeling, and you really had to depend on each other, and that was And if you win victories like that, it's just I think why I liked it also, it means a lot, and why I liked it so much is it brought me back to my first years in senior when I had the same with my brother and Ferry. We were kind of the underdog or the smaller team against the big power slide, or against Bond with Diego Rosero, and then it's different if you make it possible to win against the odd, kind of, and then that's an amazing feeling.
Yeah, I agree.
Can you still see me, Felix? Because my camera, it's stuck.
I was about to ask you. I can only hear you, but my screen froze also. I think for now we will just keep talking. If it will all go down, I will restart the thing. But we'll see how it goes. If you have the same, then it's probably Instagram thing. Okay. We'll just keep talking for now. I mean, I can only fully agree. It made it really tough, but then in the end, if you succeed, that makes it even more special. Yeah. And if I would need to name a favorite year, then it would be exactly this one, plus last year as well. Yeah, I mean, obviously, for me as a German guy to win my home race there overall, that was huge. And I mean, I have to give so much credit to you for that.
We were very strong, and I think that was also, you took the opportunity in the 500 already. Obviously. And that was very big to be there in the 500 to get your spot, and then we saw both it was possible, and I think we made and then especially also in the points race you dominated the points race, won it, and then it was clear for me, okay, we go for the overall for Felix, the first German in a long time. It's
true. I think that's something like people from the outside, obviously they don't really get to hear that, and they don't realize that, but you were the first one, I think, already after the semi-final of the 500. you already came to me and said, man, this year's for you. You can win it. And I mean, how from the guy who won that thing 8 times in a row, and you come to your teammate and say straight away, I didn't need to say anything, and I wouldn't have said anything. And I think that shows like what sort of team spirit and what Power Slide family really means comes out in those situations.
I think
just
so too.
Huge.
That's what I always had with Power Slide and with the whole team. Like, if you of course I'm many times the leader, and I appreciate that super hard, and but then to do something like last year, and or like Berlin last year as well. If you can win it, and if being the first German since a long time, and now Groß-Gerau, yeah, that's also huge things, and you've sacrificed yourself so many times for me. So yeah, then if you can do something back, or especially now in Groß-Gerau again, you took the 500 and you were very strong in the 500 and the points race again. So that's then you deserve it, and then it's time to go for it and give it a shot.
Oh man, means a lot. Really, really nice words of you. So after a few little technical issues, we are back with episode number 4 of Race Report. I'm sorry if you missed out on a few minutes. At least for Bart and me, the screens simply froze. But anyways, you will be able to find the full episode on YouTube. Just type in Race Report with Bart and Felix, and then you find the whole thing on YouTube, and it just takes me a couple of days to edit it, and then I'll upload it. I think Bart is with me in any second.
I see you, Felix.
You see me, okay. I can't see you, but I hear you. That's a good thing.
That's good, yeah.
I guess Instagram is having a couple of issues right now.
Yeah, maybe.
We just keep on trying, and if it doesn't work on Instagram, then everybody will be able to watch it a couple of days later on YouTube anyways.
Should be quick.
Yeah, so favorite years. I think we've both... now I see you. Awesome. I think we both explained pretty well which years were especially special for us, and one thing that's also, we mentioned it already, but one thing that's also special in Groß-Gerau is always the weather, because if we look at the recent years, there was rarely an edition where it didn't rain.
No. But also every edition had full sun.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's usually like Friday is so weather, then often on the Saturday it starts raining at some point, and then often the Sunday is super hot and sunny, and that's like a classic Groß-Gerau. This weekend it would have been different. Super sunny, great weather, not much wind. I can tell you, I was on the track on Saturday, because now we are allowed again to train on the track, only solo, but better than nothing. And I have a hard week this week, and I was really hammering myself, and it was really painful for me on one side not to be able to race. Yeah. On the other side, I also had a really good session, and it felt good to be back on track. And I can tell you, man, I would have been ready for this weekend, man. I was going good. I was also like mentally thinking, okay, today is like the elimination race in Groß-Gerau.
Nice.
I'm leading out Swingsy, and I was pounding out the laps, man. Felt good, but unfortunately, no real racing.
Not yet. No.
Not yet, and Groß-Gerau will come again next year, at least.
That's what I hope. We'll be there.
Yeah. Do you remember in the old days in Groß-Gerau, before there was a fence, like when there was the old asphalt, like it was super rough, and there were no fences around the whole lap?
That period, I didn't like Groß-Gerau as much as I do now. I was just so afraid of crashing, and I think it was because in one of my first editions, I don't know if it was the first or the second one, I crashed, and because the asphalt was so rough, the wounds were very deep, and I crashed, and you like you said, there was no fences, so you crash on the asphalt and you finish in the yes. So the wounds were not only very rough, but also full of dirt, and I've seen so many bad crashes there when the fences were not there, and that was very special to watch.
Yeah, it was super special. I remember, like, as a kid, I always wanted to stay for the senior races.
Yeah.
And my club, we were always positioned like right after the corner on the finish straight. And and man, like every race there was at least one big crash, and the guys would come flying into our tents, and then you would have to jump and like try not to get hit. It was crazy, like mental. Like nowadays, it would not be possible anymore.
No.
Obviously, we are also a bit faster now, but even back then, so crazy. So
Now
crazy.
it's noise when they crash and you hear everybody bumping into the fences. It's,
that's also such a unique sound. I think you have it. You have it in your ears also for sure.
Yeah, I have. I do.
Wow. Yeah, and then I remember like back in those days, I mean, you said already like you were even a little bit scared about the crashing, and obviously I was too. And I remember like one of the German guys, Nico Widowild, he was your teammate for 1 or 2 years, and he would only start like the last race, the elimination race, like with full-on protective gear and have like a couple of undershirts under his suit and stuff, because he said he crashed like, I don't know, 3 years in a row, always in that race. Obviously, elimination is a lot of fighting. Always
is super. I actually have a picture of. I was actually thinking to show it when we were talking about the 2010 edition.
Oh yeah, let's
my
see.
First win. But now we're talking about the action in the elimination.
Good.
Thought it was a little bit funny to watch it. Here it's the finish line before an elimination, and then
I love it.
This is my brother,
Marty, right? And the guy in the
Marty.
white obviously is Joey
This
Mattia.
is Joey, yeah. and not to blame Joey at all, because he was a little bit dirty in this maneuver, but he isn't a dirty skater at all. So I have to tell that. But still, this is the action and the rough action that you get in the elimination in Groß-Gerau, and the feeling, you know the feeling when you're back there and
obviously
everybody is getting on the line and you don't want to get eliminated. So
it's funny again because I choose exactly the same picture again, and this was one of the only years, I think maybe the only year where Joey came to Groß-Gerau. And he wasn't at his best, but still gave it a good show, and this was one of the special moments. Maybe not the nicest one for him, but it represents pretty well how elimination in Groß-Gerau feels like. I mean,
I think it always also has to be pretty rough. Like we've skated there. My first edition, I'd like to talk about that next, but it was in 2001. So by when I was senior, I had like 8 editions in every different categories, and I had to learn how to fight in Groß-Gerau. So I think when you come for the first time there, it has to be pretty hard, and of course he's world level. He knows how to race, and he knows how to race in the world championships. But on Groß-Gerau, the pack is double so as big, and you have all kind of level of skaters. You have the top, the best, but you also have people who are not at Europeans or worlds, and those guys, they want to get in front too. So I think that's one of the hard things also, if you get just pushed in there and try to be good at it.
Yeah, that's true. 2001, for me it's also a special year because it is also the year where this guy came to race.
Yes.
So the almighty Chad Hedrick, obviously 52, I think, times world champion. So one of the real figures in inline skating. Obviously later made the switch to ice, became Olympic champion. And
I got the result list from that year here. You can
cool.
see.
Let's have a look.
He won it, of course.
Presti, Alain Gloire.
There are also some Belgium guys. My coach Jelle is in 12th there.
Oh, he was racing that year also.
Yeah, the year before he got 4th. So
wow. Didn't know that.
He was 12th, and we can go back. This was actually my first edition ever. In the first year I was there, I went to Groß-Gerau, my first international race, I think. And let's go back to those results. No, not yet. I think I was Jugend.
Awesome. Yeah.
Schuler A-Jungen. Here we have it.
Even pupils, okay.
Yes. Felix Rijhnen in 2nd. I got 10th. At that point, I was a pretty small guy, so I had to learn how to race. And
You were still a little bit behind, and Jens Mertens, he was like my big enemy for several years. Like he was really the guy to beat. Like it was a really good
he was
skater.
very talented skater also. In Belgium, of course, I know him very well. He was 1 year older as me.
Yeah,
we raced a lot against each other, and of course you see here Wannes. He's been a teammate for me for a long time. Also a competitor always in Belgium, and I think we had a pretty good generation.
That's true.
In Belgium at the time, like Jens was second, Wannes third, Brecht got fifth, Jeremy sixth, I got 10, then 12, 13. Yeah,
like 5 Belgium guys in the top 10 or something like that. They're pretty good.
I guess that was also pretty important for me as growing up, that I had like a really strong competition also in Belgium. I always had to race and fight for a podium or getting a win. I didn't win a lot when I was young, and I think that's because of those guys. I always had to race them, and they always had a high level.
Carlos Graupner was just commenting that he finished 11th that year.
Yeah,
pretty cool. Yeah, nice. I have also a couple more from the older pictures. Let's look at this one. Start line, you see the guy on the right is Kalen Dubin, Daniel Sage. Then the guy in third, I don't know. Then we see Scotty there.
Yes,
Scotty putting in work. And also Alain Glin in the second row.
I think that next to Scotty was Josh Wood, no?
You think with the Voiducci?
No, on the other side.
This might... Or Jordan Malone, maybe?
Yeah, I think that was the year that he and Jordan Malone came.
Yeah, okay, There was one year. I think I have one more. This one we saw already.
Yes.
He is that picture again. Also another one.
The Bond train.
This is the Bond train, so they often showed up like with a really strong squad. So straight away you can count there like 7 guys. I think there were even a couple more. Swingsy coming on the inside. I had another one. This was also a fun moment. So for the 40th edition, so the 40th anniversary of the event, they did a retro race. And obviously our 2 bosses at that time. So Scotty Alic, our team manager, he was up there, and also the big boss, Matthias Knoll, the power slide owner. He was also rocking there his old quad skates and showing the younger guys how it's done. And they prepared pretty good for that for that edition. I remember they were looking for old wheels, and which were the most creepy ones, and they really had their battle, Scott and Matthias. That's true. Like those guys, I mean, they choose special outfits, but those guys were able to pull it off, and obviously they made it a good show and a fun event. It was actually quite nice to watch all the old figures there. I mean, there was also Anne Tietze, one for a long time the only German world champion skater, which there was. She raced there. Harald Hedrick, he won the event like 3 or 4 times back in the days, in the 80s. He raced there, and so many more. And it was quite fun and quite cool. And the people in Groß-Gerau, they are always showing something special and thinking about new ideas. One of here you see them in full pride again. Scotty and Matthias.
And they love it. They love to have the outfit like that.
That's what I meant. Like quite special outfit, but again, those guys wore it with pride. They were able to pull it off. One of my overall favorite pictures from Groß-Gerau.
Did you crash, Felix?
No, I made it over. Because this was a heat, long distance heat, and the guy here on the ground is Etienne Ramali. Had a bit of a hiccup there, But
I actually also wanted to talk about like those kind of situations, but the rain. We've talked about it. It happens quite often in Groß-Gerau, but I also think that's one of the reasons why Europeans usually are pretty good in the rain and pretty good at World Championships to skate in the rain, because as a kid everybody has skated in Groß-Gerau, and you've done at least one race in the rain, and also at World Championships it can happen, and you can see always that European skaters are pretty strong in the rain, and I think that's also because of Groß-Gerau.
Obviously, and there's nobody chickening out. Like everybody, okay, it's raining, everybody's lining up, and everybody gives his best and uses it as good practice. So I think, you're right, and it can be pretty grim sometimes, can be pretty cold, can be pretty slippery. But in the end, they are still often the same guys actually winning in the rain than in the dry, and that says a lot, I think. I have one story I would like to share, and it's from that year, and about this guy, Kalen Dubbin, because I was not in the international power slide team at that time. Okay. I was with Power Slide Fusion, so basically the European power slide team. And Kalen, Cecilia, and a couple of more of them, they came like the day before the race, so probably on a Thursday it must have been. They arrived to Groß-Gerau, and as always, like everybody's doing a bit of a race preparation. Skating for a couple of laps, and then usually like some sprints, some accelerations. And so I had my group there, and obviously Groß-Gerau being my home track, I kind of led the group. And then Kalen showed up there, and I mean, obviously at that time he was like a huge guy for me. Like I've talked to him before, but it was still like that massive dude, like the world champion. And he's like stepped on the track and skated a bit with us, and then he asked me, so what's your plan? What are you doing today? What are you training? I explained him a bit, and then he was like, actually that sounds good. Can I join you guys? And I was like, what? Like, sorry for the swearing. I got told I'm a naughty boy for swearing, so I was what the heck? And then he joined the session, and obviously he smoked me pretty bad, and most others, but still. And that's then really cool. And then afterwards I asked him like, Kalen, so how comes, like, why didn't you do your own training? Why did you just jump in with us? And he was like, you know what, like whenever you get the chance to skate with somebody whose own track it is, you should always take that opportunity, because the people from the track, they know how to skate it, they know which lines to use, they know where to skate and where not to skate. And obviously Kalen being a smart guy, he knew that straight away, and he wasn't like cocky, like I'm the multiple world champion great guy. He was like, I can learn something from those dudes, so I jump in. And that was for me was like a huge moment. And then obviously I think a year later we became teammates in the power slide world team. But that was for me, it was a big moment, and quite a cool one.
I think that's also it fits perfectly with Kalen. Like I've done so many trainings with him. He's always saying it's okay to join your training and to join it. And when I went to training camps in Geisinger or before Worlds, he was always okay with it if you join the training. And that's really nice to hear a story like that too, because that's it's just him, and he loves to skate and he loves to learn also from everybody, and that's you can see that in that story.
That's right. I have also another picture from one of my junior years. That year you were not there because I was younger category, but I quite like this picture because there's so many familiar faces. I just start here at the right,
and the first one already.
You already recognize who it is?
It's Jan Blocky,
and I think the very first one is Chris Payne.
That's Chris Payne. Yeah. The second one is Jan.
Yeah,
no?
Should be. Then we have Etienne Ramali there.
No. I think the second one is Koen, and there more to the back it's Jan. I don't know.
Or maybe the blue guy in the blue, is that maybe Jan Blokhuizen?
Could be, yeah, that's him, yeah.
Awesome. And I think that the second one should be Koen, then Etienne Ramali there, and it's me there on the inside. Italian guy was Antonio Rapponi. Yeah, you remember him? Like,
of course.
Such a strong guy back then.
Yeah.
One of the Swissies, then further back we have there Jens Mertens. Talked about him before.
In front of him, I think.
Yes, true. Ribagliati. Yeah.
And this is Amabili here? Yeah, on the outside. The Italian here.
That one. Might be. I just found it like quite interesting, like how many of those guys are actually still skating and made it quite far. Like guys like Koen Verwey and Chris Payne, obviously still super successful also on ice, and they've all been there. They've all been in Groß-Gerau and already as juniors. So
I think that's with Groß-Gerau, so many guys, and especially also for Belgium skaters, and I think also for Dutch skater, it's one of the main events because it's not too far, and everybody has been there, and everybody knows that that's a big race. Also for the Belgian Federation, it always has been like a spot for where you can make the national team for European for European championships or World Championships, because at our own national championships, you race each other, but it's different than when you race compared to the real European top, and that's why those races are always have been really important for us. And there's been many years that they put it on the selection criteria that you have to be in shape there and you have to show yourself, and if you're not good there, then it's possible you don't make it to the Europeans or the Worlds.
Yeah, it's actually the same in Germany. And as you said, like at our national championships, we are maybe 20 guys. Sometimes in a good year we have 30 guys. Obviously, not all of them are on top level. So it's completely different racing. And at a race like in Groß-Gerau, Geising or others, it's more like a real international competition. Again, in the senior men, we have almost every year we have more than 100 participants. So there need to be A, B, and C finals, and then you can really see where people stand also on an international scale. Yeah. And that makes those races so hard, but also so interesting and fun.
Yeah. I actually have a video I'd like to show.
Oh yeah, please.
It's from back in the day, and it's an important race for me. Always have been, so that's why I'll try to show it.
Let's see it.
Okay, let's see.
2000.
Remember this year? Yeah, you remember?
Oh yeah, lots of Colombians there.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I do remember.
I think one of the first years that Vache was there, Colombian team. This was my course screen. It's for me,
so many strong guys there.
This is Saturata, I think.
Also still rollerblade world team still there.
Yeah.
I think Diego was there, right?
Diego was there, yeah. This is Saturata and Scotty. This was
there.
Me.
Fabio was there.
Chifuentes was there. This is Perez. Carlos Perez.
Obviously following you.
Yeah, it was the last race.
I know Rian was there also.
Rian, yeah.
Oh yeah, Swingsy on a breakaway. Nice one.
Yeah. That's left to go. This is really memories for me. And
wow, cool.
And why it's the biggest memory? Because it was my first real big win in an international race or in senior. So
senior level.
Wow. We've talked about last week about Trappist, and there I had to say that I couldn't skate yet in the peloton, and I still had to learn a lot. But then 1 week later was Groß-Gerau, and then I showed what I was able to, and that was the first time that I won a big race in senior division. So it was a special moment for me.
Yeah, nice one. I think obviously I think you were already really strong also in the race we talked about with Trappist. But in Groß-Gerau, for me the difference was that also your brother Marty and Farah, they also really stepped up their game. They were really also, I remember in the elimination, Farah was really able to protect you and did like a really good bouncer job basically. And as you said before, Marty pounding out the laps in front, and that really made a difference, I think. And
we were really like a trio at that time. Like Marty did the leading for me, and Farah protected me. At that time, he protected me so many times. I wasn't able to do it myself, and now I'm more able to, and I earned more my spot in the peloton. But back then, I didn't have that. I didn't earn it yet. So then I really needed a guy like Farah, and now. You do it a lot for me as well, so that's it's so important, and it was really fun to race like that.
Yeah, nice. It's always cool to think about like the really first times that you made it to the top at the international level, and I know the feeling like coming from juniors, you really got zero respect in the peloton, and even people who are not as fast or not as strong as you, they just fight you for every position, and that leaves you no chance. But that year, you guys were a strong force, and that really showed in the results in the end.
I think some people also were surprised by that, because it was the first year we raced like that, and the first year we were at that top level, and my first senior year, so it was nice we could show it like that. And
you also had a couple of really special 500 meters over the years. Do you have some footage from them?
I got some footage from them.
Let's see it.
Wait a second.
Because the 500 meters in Groß-Gerau, they are also quite exciting. It's a 304 meter road, so it's not 2 laps. It's like 1 lap and 3/4 of a lap. So there's not so much time to pass, but also for a sprinter it's quite long to do it.
It's long to stay in the lead.
To stay in front. So it's actually quite nice distance there. And
the start is for me always a problem, because the start is it's 60-70 meters straight, and I need a corner to get on speed. So let's watch the first one.
Let's see it.
There was year 2010.
Wow,
you can see.
So Swingsy all the way to the right.
Yes.
Against
Munoz,
Kalen Davin.
Quinten Tas, and
Quinten up there.
Fabio Francolini. Wow, and that's also the 4 guys how they're skating now. And fifth, and I remember that final I had so much trouble with the speed. Especially in that final, I was just trying to follow, and here I looked a little bit like I wanted to pass, but I had no chance.
Obviously, those guys in front of you, they're doing a pretty good job closing the door on the inside, so basically it didn't leave you much of a chance.
It might seem that or look that they tried to block me a little bit or something, but I just didn't have the speed. I remember I was just trying to keep up, and but then I also have another one.
Okay.
And by then I think I got a little bit better.
Some more experience.
This was also again against now 4 French guys.
Bart Swings versus France. That's a nice title.
And again, like super talented guys. Elton is leading here. Peloquin is in second. Third is Nolan Bediaf. And behind me is Gwendal Lepiver. He won the 500 meter many times there in.
Yeah, obviously 500 meter world champion.
Yes. So now I'm still in fourth, but trying to move
Strong
up.
final. Yeah.
Yeah.
Taking the inside line there.
Yeah.
Wow,
Doing
passing two guys on the inside. Nice. And now just Elton left and... Oh no, it was Peluca there. Huh?
Peluca, yeah.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still remember that one. Cool.
Yeah, we were back then teammates, and it was a good start from the weekend that year.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it was my first year in power slide. Yeah.
Yeah, with those green suits, yeah. Should be. Should be. And straight away win like this. Cool.
It was a great feeling.
Yeah. Do you remember like 2001 when Chad was there? Were you getting an autograph from him or not?
No, I had the poster. I had the poster, and I remember I went to many rollerblade guys. I think also had the autograph from Kalen, but from Chad I wasn't able to get one. No.
Okay. I remember I got my helmet autographed on, and I also took a picture. Unfortunately I couldn't find it, but I'll try to look it up still. Maybe I can still put it in the YouTube show. But yeah, I mean that's also something for me. Like, okay, it's a while ago, 19 years ago, but still, I mean, I was there as a child, and I was collecting autographs from my role models and heroes back then, and now it's quite special to be there a couple of years later, and the kids coming up to us and asking for pictures, asking for autographs, and yeah, that's always nice and special in Groß-Gerau, that everything is so close together and everybody is accessible, everybody can talk to each other, and quite cool and quite nice atmosphere.
That's one of the most beautiful things of our sport now at the moment, that it's still, you're so close together to all the people, and kids can come and come for an autograph, talk to you, or get a picture with you, and that's what I like a lot about those races, that you're accessible, and I remember that as well, like going on a hunt for autographs, and even playing with the guys who you were racing with. I remember that so good from the first years. It was racing 2K or something, and then afterwards I went playing with Wannes and Sander.
Did you go into the half pipe always?
In the half pipe, yes.
With my speed skates. Wow.
Not
awesome.
Caring at all, walking with them on the grass and stuff, and it's such a fun time as a kid. And
those were the days. The days. Oh. Yeah, I remember also like finishing one race, straight to the half pipe, skating like 2 hours in the half pipe with the speed skates, helmet, suit on, everything. Crashing a couple of times, ripping off the suit, everything, and then my mom or my dad would come and say, "Hey, you have to go to the start line again." And it's like, at least I was warmed up, and ran over to the start line again. Yeah. But this was really good time, really fun time, and I mean that's also something people should not forget, that it's also about having fun and not only about results, and especially for younger kids. Yeah, cool. Then I would say we bring this part to a close, and if you have any questions, so people in the chat, then you can ask us now. You should. And I got already a couple of questions sent in, and one of them was I found quite interesting, and it was someone asking, if we would race each other, how would we beat each other? And because I had a little bit of time to think about it already, and so I start answering it first. And I don't want to talk about all the secrets, but it's a good question, because
for sure.
Because obviously, like, if I race Bart, then I never try to go into a one-on-one. Like I've tried that many times, and I don't know, in a points race, like trying to go every time when you go, and let's be honest, it didn't never really worked out too well for me most of the time. And if I need to beat you, then basically I need to try to bring it down to a sprint. And there, on a good day, I have a little bit better, more chance. And maybe if I get my timing right, or if I'm smart on the course or whatever, then I have a chance. But most other situations, I don't really. Let's say I would lose most of the time. So, how would you do it?
I think I have to watch out for a few moments, I think, or a few ways that the race could go.
Yeah.
Like I think if the race is really hard to get away, or like for example the World Championships from last year.
Yeah.
You did a lot of tried many times in the breakaway, and that was for me. I think otherwise you would have been a lot fresher and could have beaten me and maybe Nolan in the final sprint. I think that's always a really tricky race for me. Like when it's hard to get in the breakaway, and if I lose myself a little bit to do too much work, and you are more fresh in the final, then you can be
that's the biggest difference, I think, because I mean I never, even if we are not racing together because it's a World Championship or a European Championship or whatever, I never race one person. I never race against you, because basically most of the time the responsibility to win is on you anyways. So everybody tries to beat you. The way I have to race is try to look for the perfect moment and try to look for a good opportunity, and then make the most out of my strengths, basically.
And that's why I don't really like the question, because I think the best for you to beat me is if we don't race each other. Like for example. If we don't focus on each other, because if the question is how would you beat the other guy, then it's a one-on-one race, and then I think I'm able to beat you. But in the case that it's not about we're not looking at each other, then you're getting maybe the most dangerous, because you're still super fast and you have the ability to get in the breakaways also. Like how you get your world title is. You took the race in your hands, and everybody behind. I wasn't doing the work, and nobody else was doing the work, and you deserve that the world champion title very much. And
thank you.
Same as you have had, like in points races. Usually you break away when I'm totally dead, and then it's over for me.
Okay, let's bring that question to the end. There's another one coming in. What are the feelings when you are at the start line?
I'm super nervous. Always.
Nervous,
I'm like before a race. If it's small or big, if it's a world championship or just a race, national championship, or even smaller, then I'm always super nervous, and
or on a swift race on the bike.
On the swift race on the bike, I'm already nervous for the next one. So
yeah, true. Just a quick reminder: on the 1st and 2nd of May, there will be more of the races from skaters. So Skaters Occupy Swift is the name, and 1st and 2nd of May. You can find them on Facebook and Instagram, and Bart and me will be racing at least one of the days. So please come and join, and let's have some fun, and even in those difficult times. There's another question for you, Swingsy, which is how was it like during the starting times of your speed skating journey or career?
I told a little bit already today, but I was a small kid, so I was not the biggest, and I think that was also one of the reasons why I had to fight a lot more than most of the guys, because I didn't have the strength. So for me, it was necessary to be smart, have a good technique, and to be able like that to get some good results. And I didn't win a lot when I was young. Most of the time I got fourth or third, and when I was on the podium I was a super happy kid. And only when I was about 14, 15 years old, then I started winning or win a race. And how was it for you, Felix?
I think I probably won a bit more than you when I was younger.
Yeah.
But I never won everything. Like I had a couple of good years, but more when I was a junior, where like in Germany I won everything. But really as a kid, I was sometimes up there, but sometimes really didn't have a chance. Mm-hmm. And I think that counts for both of us. It just kept us hungry. And I think that's making the big difference, that you don't give up, that you stay hungry. Jonas, one of my cycling friends, riding for CCC. How many kilometers average do you train on the bike per year? Do you know the number from your swings?
I don't know it exactly. I could look it up on Training Peaks, I think. Yeah. But I don't think it's that really big. I would like to search it up now, but I would say if I count, I don't know. I should kind of look it up. Maybe I can say it the next session.
One of the next ones. Yeah. For me it's roughly 15,000 kilometers in a year.
15, yeah. I don't think I get there.
Sometimes a little bit less. For example, when I had an injury on my foot and I couldn't skate so much, it was a bit more.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but roughly 15,000 K, so not as much as the real pros, but obviously we do quite a lot on our skates as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jonas, you should step up your Swift game, because there was a second race of the German Bundesliga yesterday, and I did not see him up there. So please, Jonas, for the third edition, step up your game and give it some beans there.
Yes.
Good. Do you have another question? Because I had two more, but I don't have them on my iPad right now. So
I see somebody ask, like, do you think speed skating is getting more popular?
Okay. I don't know about speed skating particular, but for sure skating is experiencing a little boom right now. I mean, I only I was out on my skates this afternoon, and honestly, on a good day today, I see so many skaters like what last year maybe I would have seen in 1 month. It's incredible. Like the people finally enjoying the weather and enjoying skating again. And I think because it's one of the sports, just like cycling, which you can easily do alone. You don't need a big group or anything, and you can do nicely on bike paths or on any sort of road. So I think it's getting more popular. How do you see it in Belgium right now?
I see it exactly the same. Like I see it also with my friends. More and more people are getting inline skates, and that's really fun to see. And I think also it's just a really good workout compared to cycling, for example. You burn a lot more calories, but still you have some speed, so it's faster than running, and that's why I don't like running so much, because if you run 10 kilometers an hour or 15, then you see 15 kilometers in 1 hour. That's not so much compared to inline skating. It's easy to get 20 or 25 kilometers an hour, and then you can see the neighborhood and go somewhere and see some nature, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah, that's true. And I think one also of the key things is that it's much easier on your joints and knees and stuff like this compared to running. And I mean, obviously the same goes for cycling, but skating, you don't need to be overall in a super great shape or anything like this, and it probably less likely to get injured during skating. I mean, you can crash, that's true, but not like real injuries, and I think that's also one of the good things. Then there's a question about how many kilometers we do during a regular skate session, and I want to use this moment to advertise a little bit your Strava account. So Bart is on Strava. You can find him under Swings on Wings, and he is sharing like a lot of his workouts there. So if you want to figure out what he's training, and you can find myself also on Strava, what I am training, then check us out on Strava, Swings on Wings or Felix Rijhnen, and you get a pretty good idea, and you can research a little bit what we are doing.
That's we do.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is also one of the things I would have loved to have as a kid, that I could stalk like the big guys and know what they are training and know what they are doing. But back then we were happy to find like every couple of months a video online or something like this. This completely changed now.
Yeah, it's now so hard. Like when I want to prepare this race report, it's hard to find some stuff from back in the day.
True.
Compared to now, it's you can find so many movies and videos and photo pictures. So
now all the big events have live streams, and you can always rewatch the live streams from the last couple of years. That's quite a nice change. Now I'm getting asked about my experience in Brazil. So last year I was able to go to Brazil at the end of the season and do a little half marathon there, or not so little actually. It was the biggest event in the whole Brazil, about 400 skaters. Not bad for the first edition, and I loved it. Beautiful country. Great food, and the best way the people, like super friendly, and they have really big hearts there, and I felt really welcome, and I enjoyed it a lot. So hopefully I can bring you with me one of the next years. Like, it's really one of the cool countries.
Yeah, that's nice. I'd like to go there too one day. Brazil, that sounds amazing.
So now we get asked about our thoughts during races. Bart's world record, and I'm winning world champs. Key decisions during those races, what were they? Maybe I start off because you mentioned already one of my world champs. Maybe I talk about 2017. Where I won my first world title in Nanjing in China, and if I think back to it, I get goosebumps because we were in a 4-man breakaway in the points race, and Mike Paes was there, Nolan Bediaf, and Daniel Nieto, and so really good guys, and probably two of those guys were faster than me in the sprint. Basically what I did was I didn't sprint with them for any points for 2 or 3 laps. Tried to sit on the back of the breakaway, try to get some energy, and I knew I have only one shot, and that's to go full gas, and I attacked straight after one of the point sprints. And got a gap, and the guys were not really chasing, and then I had enough energy to stay away. For me, that was the race-winning move, or it was the race-winning move. And now looking back, it's easy to say, but the hard thing in those races or taking those decisions is that you have to do it in a split second. It's really no time to think about anything. You have to follow
not to plan it or anything.
No, you can't plan this. You don't know who will be with you in a breakaway. You don't know if you get into a breakaway or when the breakaway will go or whatever. But I mean, this is one of the things. Probably 2 or 3 years before, I wouldn't have had the balls to try that. But
wait,
then
that was the crucial move. Wait, and then boom. That was. And then I watched it on the live stream.
I remember. So you were one of the first guys writing to me afterwards, and again, that's what I appreciate so much about you, having you as a teammate, is that you can be as happy as for a victory of myself or one of the other power slide team guys than if you would win yourself, and that's just so cool. But now back to you. Do you have one of those special moments in mind where you took like a good decision or a bad decision in a crucial moment?
Yeah. I think, for me, that's my Olympic medal. I think if I look back at the silver medal,
that's a good one.
I started the sprint. It was a really relaxed race, like just one pace. At the end, Sven Kramer tried to break away, and he had a gap, but never got really big or anything. So I wasn't nervous at all. But with 3 laps to go. Suddenly I start feeling people are pushing and it's getting more exciting, and I felt really good. So suddenly with 2 laps to go, I decided, I didn't even decide it myself, I just did it. I just went at 700 meters to go.
Not even thinking, right?
Not even thinking, no. And it just happened, and I had 2 guys behind me, Sunu Lee, who was by far the fastest at that point, and Koever Ray. And when I look back now at that race and how everything went, I surprised Alexis Contain. He was one of the medal guys, medal contender. And Joey Mantilla, I surprised him too with going at 700 meters. And when I look back at that was the crucial way and the crucial decision to win a medal and to get second. And I got also really close to the gold medal there. And I think, and I never did it before. I never went at 700 meter before, or I never thought about it or discussed the final sprint. And that was just like came out of nowhere, and I did it, and that was
probably the best thing you could have done.
For sure, because the race was not so hard or not so fast, and I know, of course, I have a good sprint. But the longer it is, the better it is for me, because guys like Joey, they are that 0.2, 0.1, 0.3 faster than me. So I have to go early, and I did it without really thinking about it, and that was just awesome. That was crucial. Yeah,
that's awesome. I also still remember watching that race and like screaming at the TV. I was so happy for you that you finally got that Olympic medal, and awesome moment. Now we got somebody who's saying the longest they're skating recently is 10.5 kilometers in 65 minutes. You could definitely go longer. I think the key is to slowly build it up, and don't suddenly go double the distance.
No.
But maybe from week to week, try to add 5 or 10 minutes to that, and then to progress slowly. Another question about joint aches or muscle pain. Yeah, definitely I get muscle pain.
Yes.
Also, the joints hurt sometimes, especially now. For example, I was not on the track for several weeks, and now skating quite hard, quite fast on the track. It's completely different on all your muscles, on all your joints, and it's quite common that you get a bit of pain there, and that's nothing too special. I guess it's a similar thing for you.
Yeah, I think you have to get used to the low, the small knee ankles, or the small knee, what's it called? Like sitting low. You have to get used to that.
To the position,
And it's also same as you said before. Like when you do first 65 minutes, just build it up and don't try to be in a low position for 90 minutes straight, because you have to get used to it, and your muscles and your everything has to get used to it and adapt to it.
Okay, awesome. Then let's do that one last question. How many hours do you train per week? For me, it's usually between 20 and 25 hours, but it really depends. An easy week can sometimes be only 15 hours. And sometimes in the winter, when there's a lot of volume, not so much intensity, it can be also 30 hours. But it varies a lot, depends on the time of the year, depends if there are races or not. How about you, Swingsy?
Similar. Of course it changes a lot, and also with the intensity. Like if you have a really high intensity, then you're not doing 3 hours of it. It changes. And for me, a regular routine. That's the next question is, and it fits towards a weekly training. Is just I train in the morning from 10 to 12, and then or 9 to 11, depends how cold it is outside. Yeah. And then the next training, I start at 4 and I finish at 6. So it's between 3 and 4 hours in a day, and then 6 days a week. Sometimes the rest day is like half of a rest day. Depends what the other has in mind. But it's like kind of my regular routine and my on a weekly basis.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, Swingsy, thanks a lot for your time. For another episode of Race Report. We will try to hammer out a little bonus episode during the next week. So be ready, Wednesday or Thursday. There might be a little bonus edition, and but we will keep you posted. Swings, enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
You too, Felix.
Thanks a lot for all the insights and all the knowledge, and I'm looking forward to talk to you in the next days again.
Me too.
See you soon, buddy. Bye-bye.